Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading welcome to your reading for the week of November 10th. You have this seduction card. It says passion and romance lie in wait. You have this shield card. It says you are safe from harm. So there you go. If you're being seduced this week, look at this. Definitely could be love for those of you that want it. And, again, apparently you are protected, so it is probably safe for you to open up to this. People always ask, can I date during a Mercury retrograde? And I always say, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Tarot, astrology, it's not a prison sentence. And as long as you pay attention, you'll be fine. It's only when we don't pay attention that we run into problems. So that's what I'll say about that. Astrology doesn't control your life, neither does tarot. Can't make anything happen or not happen. Only you can prevent forest fires, right? Only you can be the one that creates an outcome. So that's what you have to pay attention to here, but definitely could be love. This could also be you committing to something that you will love. You have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands can be marriage. And again, love definitely looks good in this reading, but the Four of Wands can be any type of commitment that sets you free. The Four of Wands, we have to cross through this threshold here in the middle of the card and get to the other side so we can celebrate with these people over here. And that's the whole point of the card, is to have a celebration and to set yourself free. And so, again, there's a million things you can do to make that happen. You do have the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords here at the top with the Four of Wands. The Ten of Swords is coming up in the area of the good stuff, so it's going to be good, but this could represent setting yourself free from something that you have been kind of like stuck and bound to, or something that has been keeping you stuck. So I do like that. Ten of Swords and the good stuff is a blessing in disguise. So you could be seeing how, letting something go at this time is actually a blessing. You have the Knight of Cups. Again, could be a perfect person. So if you want love, definitely could be a good connection. I always say Mercury retrograde. Again, I think Mercury retrograde gets a bad rap. Just in the first place, retrogrades are necessary. We can revisit things. Communication can be off, but it's like, as long as you understand that, then you'll be fine. The other thing to remember is a relationship could be different after a retrograde, but that could be a good thing. It could get better, believe it or not, after a retrograde. The communication could be clearer, or you could gain clarity on the connection. So again, I think it's ridiculous when people say don't date during Mercury retrograde and things like that. Plus, on top of all that, if you date a person after a Mercury retrograde, guess what happens? If they suck, you might have to wait like 6 months to figure that out. During a retrograde, you're going to see it right freaking away. So I'd rather only date a person for a month and only waste a month of my life than I would 6 months or a year or longer, right? So it's like, I think people need to stop avoiding lessons in life and stop being so dramatic as well. So there you go. I'm not afraid to say that to you, Sagittarius. But what I would say here is definitely could be a person. The Knight of Cups can also be working on your dream. This is the best time in history to work on your dream, especially Neptune retrograde in Pisces. I talk about it all the time. It's critically important. Like this is your chance to really bring a part of your dream down into the 3D, into this world, and you should. So that's what I would do there. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands can be a victory or a success. You have the Five of Wands to the Seven of Pentacles going this direction here, which is very good. This could represent you discovering something that makes you come out on top in a competition. The Six of Wands is like winning the competition. The Five of Wands is the competition. Seven of Pentacles, he's looking at those pentacles, and he's looking at basically the effort and the result his effort has produced. But Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. Seven of Pentacles, he's grown something, but he might be thinking like, hey, there's a better way that I can do what everybody else is doing, or there's another way I can have this victory. That's what the astrology is all about, Sagittarius, especially with Uranus and Gemini, your opposite sign, especially in work for you, Gemini, or anything that you do every single day. It could be part of your daily routine or whatever. But, again, it's critically important that Sagittarius looks for other ways of working or doing their work, because you will come out on top. You will stand out. You will get attention. You will have those victories. But it is going to require a little bit of mental activity. It's going to require a little bit of, research, experimentation, things like that. But if there was ever a time where Sagittarius could really stand out, it's right now. With the Four of Wands, you have the Six of Swords. Again, like I said, Four of Wands could be marriage, but the Four of Wands was definitely giving me more of that freedom type of vibe. So I feel for a lot of you that you are moving on to calmer shores here, which is great. Again, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very fired up about your reading. It feels really good to me. I think you're heading into a much better time than you have been in. You're not going to feel this overnight, but as we enter into next year, definitely once we get into the month of March as well, you should feel this. Again, it's not going to take that long, but again, it's going to build over that period of time. And again, I think this is definitely very good for you. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Devil. Again, I would be careful of any energy vampires. Could just be a Capricorn. I do feel Capricorn energy here if you want love. So, it could just be a Capricorn person or person with Capricorn in their chart. The Devil wants you to avoid anything that steals your energy as well. But what I feel for you is, I don't always say this with the Devil, but these people have these animal horns on their heads. And the animal horns represent their baser instincts. So sometimes I think the Devil can represent trapped creative energy. It represents root chakra energy that we have to bring up to our heads and express into the world. And, plain and simple, Sag, I feel a little bit of trapped creative energy here that's trying to come out. So, time for you to create. Here you go. With the Six of Wands, you have the Chariot. The Chariot is about completely ignoring obstacles as well. It doesn't say that there aren't obstacles. It just means ignore them and don't worry about them, right? And charge right through them and blast right over them. And so I think kind of ignoring the obstacles could be a good thing for you to do right now. The Chariot is also about setting yourself apart. He is leaving this city behind him and he's charging in a new direction. So, anything you can do to move in new directions would be a very good idea. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, here you go. You have this Authority card. It says law, order, rules, structure, and rigidity. You have the Emperor, and I'm pretty sure one of your recent readings we talked about you becoming like an authority figure. You have this Light Space card. It says enlightenment, purity, insight, and life. So again, I think it would be an excellent time for Sagittarius to take the lead, especially with that Emperor energy that's showing up here. You have the Four of Cups, the Five of Wands, and the Three of Pentacles. Again, Four of Cups can be a little bit of boredom, which I do feel for you, Sagittarius. Is this bad? No, I don't think it's really bad. I think you're just looking for something new. When you think about it, he's getting the same thing again. Right here. He's manifested 3 cups and now he's getting another one. That's kind of what I feel for you here. It's like you're ready for a change. I don't normally say that with the 4 cups. Normally, what I say is that he needs to accept this cup and he needs to realize that he's learned the lessons of these 3 cups that he can apply to this 1 cup and he can make the situation work, whatever the situation is. But I feel a little bit different, like I said, for you, Sag. I feel it's more saying that it would be worth it for you to it would be worth it for you to maybe look for something else, especially if you're not satisfied in like work or business or something, there might be better opportunities for you somewhere else. It looks to me like you're making a change anyway, and you have the Death card here. It's like you're definitely due for some sort of change or moving in new directions. You have the Five of Wands. I would definitely encourage you to face competition, especially in work, because of Uranus and Gemini. Even though it will be retrograding into Taurus this month, in the middle of the month, it doesn't really matter. It's already entered into Gemini, and I feel you can still, even when it's retrograde in Taurus, you can still get the benefits of Uranus and Gemini. And then definitely next year, when it moves back into Gemini, you will get even more benefits from, kind of using your brain and figuring out ways to stand out and be unique and to kind of go against the grain and all that other stuff. But the Five of Wands is really an amazing card for finding treasure. I used to call this card Indiana Jones because the Five of Wands is like a card of going on a crazy adventure to find treasure. It's not like easy, but it's definitely an option. And so I would do whatever you can to make that happen. You have the Three of Pentacles. The thing I would say with the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Wands showing up here is to make sure that you're working together with people who actually want to work together with you. Five of Wands can be people who are causing conflict, but Three of Pentacles is less people, and they're all kind of working on a shared vision. And so if you're working together with people, even in relationships, friendships, love relationships, everything, making sure that the people that are coming into your life have the same ideas as you, or, they don't have to be exactly the same, but they have to be willing to work together, right? And the Three of Pentacles says that. All your readings all year have been about you putting your work on display. He is showing his work. He's putting it into the world right here. So it is definitely a good time for Sagittarius to show off, to show their skills. If you have a hidden talent, gift, skill, or ability, or something creative with the devil, I think it is an amazing time for you to kind of put whatever you're creating out into the world, because that's probably what will lead to success, abundance, all those great things. And work is changing for you. With the Four of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, Ten of Wands is like a slog, right? He is just, he is getting a result. Personally, I like the Ten of Wands because he's about to reach his home. And so he is about to have a harvest. But, it's been a struggle. He's carrying those 10 wands. He is burdened. He has a bunch of obligations and responsibilities in his life that are kind of weighing him down. And he is very close. He's about to have a harvest. But, Seven of Pentacles right next to it says, is it worth it? Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth a squeeze? And I don't know. I can't answer that question for you, right? Only you can answer that question. And so I would be looking at the things that you're investing time in and energy into. And you don't necessarily have to quit the things that you're doing, but there are probably ways that you can either, kind of make something more efficient, or there are ways that you can make something more successful. And I would be looking at how to do that, how to get more juice. With the Five of Wands, you have the Five of Swords. Yeah, Five of Swords is conflict and competition, but it's also separation. So if you're dealing with something that is causing an issue in your life, or if you're dealing with something that is, causing a problem or getting in the way, then the Five of Swords can encourage you to separate yourself away from things that are causing, issues and problems. Yes, with the Three of Pentacles, you have the Five of Wands. I connected the Five of Wands and the Three of Pentacles earlier. I feel like you need to avoid people, who cause conflict. This has definitely been a long-term message for you, Sag, that, I think you have learned a lot of lessons with people in your life. And, I think now it's time to implement those lessons. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily run away from competition. What I would be doing, especially with the astrology that we have right now, we have an amazing opportunity to stand out above the competition. We just have to do something differently than what everybody else is doing. Just look at my channel, right? Look at all the things that I do, right? There's a reason for it, because again, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm trying to stand out above the competition, and I think everybody should do it. And it's not really that hard, and it's worth it as well, or at least I think it will be worth it. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Unfinished Symphony card and this Yang Energy card. Yes, creation with the Unfinished Symphony card, right? It's like you're creating a symphony in your life. The Yang Energy card is creation. It is, kind of like the Ace of Wands. And I feel it's time for you to kind of put your creativity to work in your life. And, this could be in any area of your life, just getting a little bit more creative. If nothing else, it could make life a little bit more fun, right? So I would be looking for those creative solutions. I do feel like the reading is asking you to finish something. It's like if you have a half-finished project in your life, or something that you want to see through to the end, again, now is definitely the time. You have the Seven of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Nine of Swords. Yeah, there's some sort of change with that Four of Cups. It's like you've been working on something the same for multiple times, is how I'm seeing that Four of Cups, which I've never delivered that message on the Four of Cups. So, it seems to me like it's saying you've been doing something the same for too long. And the Seven of Pentacles would be the change in direction. The Seven of Pentacles, again, really wants you, all these cards, in this top row, I think they really want you to weigh up the results that you're getting for the energy that you give to things. And if the result isn't more than you put in, or at least equal, then it might be time to make that change. The other thing I want to say to you, Sag, is, speaking of, working on things and creating things, with Saturn moving into Aries next year, it is an amazing time to start a long-term project that will take time that you finish, right? The trick with Aries energy is we have to start something, but we also have to finish it and see it through all the way to the end. So it's an amazing time for like long-term projects, especially if they're new, or, like we're talking about things that require building, like writing a book or something like that, that's going to take a while, but could have a big payoff in the future. So if you're thinking about doing those things, I would. Also, Sag, make sure to like and leave a comment. Really helps me out. You have this Emperor card. Emperor is about taking action, of course. So I think that really the Emperor is saying that you're taking action. You could be attracting an Emperor. We do have good love cards here, but I kind of feel this is more about you grabbing onto an opportunity and really making something happen here. It's funny, we have the retrograde in your sign, the Mercury retrograde. So, this is going to affect you more than everybody else. I don't really think it's a bad retrograde, but I do think that it's going to have you thinking a lot about past opportunities, things that you missed out on, things that you over-invested in, things that you under-invested in. And, it might just be with Uranus also in Gemini, even though it's retrograde and, going to be retrograde in Taurus, doesn't really matter. I think it would be a good time for you to use that brain power to kind of like look at what you've done. I think this will help you like spot patterns in your life in the future. And I don't know, it's popping into my head as very important, Sagittarius. Like there could be it's like the universe is preparing you for patterns that are going to make you successful in the future, but you have to be able to see the pattern, right? You have to be able to see that like an opportunity, maybe you see there's an opportunity coming in the future, and if you pay attention, it will remind you of an opportunity you missed out on in the past, right? But like if you don't think about it, you're not going to see it. So it might be a good time to like process past opportunities. You have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, like I think it's time for a change. Not again, Four Cups, Seven of Pentacles. This card, Nine of Swords, is a never-ending nightmare. It can be having a nightmare, waking up and being stuck in a nightmare. I don't really feel bad about it for you. Like I don't think that it's really saying anything bad is happening or any challenges are happening or anything like that. But I do feel that it is kind of saying that something has to change. Things have been the same for too long, and really he just has to change up his routine or do things differently to get out of this situation. And I definitely feel the reading is saying that. Like I don't even think your life is that bad right now for most of you, and it just wants you to mix it up. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Strength card. Yeah, strength is something we have to do every single day. Strength, she is taming this lion. The lion represents her inner voice, her inner critic, her inner demons, but she is the one that is in control of that inner voice. So I definitely feel this is encouraging you to take control of your inner voice so that you can, so that you can be successful, or so that you can, live a good life. And again, she has to be in control of what her inner voice is telling her. Like whatever it's telling her is true. So if she controls it to the positive, then her life will be positive. I also feel it's saying like you're ready, basically here, Sag, with that Strength card. It's saying you've done the work, it's time for a change. With the Emperor, you have the Page of Cups. Definitely could be attracting an Emperor. And again, the other thing is during retrograde, it's like you can just start by slow. You don't have to rush into something with a person. So if a person's coming in, you can just start taking it slow. Just have a good time. Don't take it too seriously, and then see what happens, right? And that's exactly what I would do. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about going on an adventure. So, again, Sagittarius, I've been saying to you all year that it's almost like you're returning back to your Sagittarian self. And I feel this is, of course, a good thing. You're becoming more adventurous, more open to adventure. And I would just be embracing that energy. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the Short Illness card. It says short rest, poor health, blockage, temporary problems, weakness, unhealthy atmosphere, and standstill. But it's coming up in the good stuff, so you could be healing. You have this Half Truths card. It says partial truth, get more information, white lies, missing part of the story, cover up well-intended lie. So, again, you could be coming up in the good stuff. You could be getting the truth of a situation here with these cards. And, again, I think that would be good. You have the Ten of Swords, the Death card, and the Three Cups. Ten of Swords can say something is dead, done, over with in your life. Like I said, in the good stuff, the Ten of Swords can represent a blessing in disguise. He's making a symbol right here with his hand, and it's the same symbol the Hierophant is making on his card, and it just represents a blessing in disguise. So if you're hoping to receive a blessing or get some sort of blessing, there definitely could be a blessing in disguise coming in for you with this card. And it probably is the change. You have the Death card. The Death card can say that you're going through a significant change. You know, the king is dead underneath the Death Rider on the Death card, and the king being dead kind of represents the fact that even kings die. You know, even things that we think are going to last forever, sometimes they don't, and that is part of life. That is the time that we're in. We had Pluto in Capricorn, now it's in Aquarius. You know, when Pluto goes over the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius, it's the death of establishment. So anything that has been around for a long time is kind of undergoing a transformation, and it's just like the time that we're in. We also have these two pillars here. These two pillars show up on the Moon card, and we have the Sun coming up between those two pillars. On the Death card, it can represent clarity or gaining a bunch of clarity. And again, this retrograde, it definitely seems to be one that is bringing people a lot of clarity. Pretty much everyone has had a message of clarity or getting answers. So I definitely feel you could be getting answers. He also has this white rose right here, and it represents kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. So a lot of you could be finally seeing the light with the, with this part right here. You have the Three of Cups. I feel you're surrounding yourself with better people, like we already said, and that definitely should be a focus for you over the next few years, is really building those quality connections with people, even if it's very few, of people who really support you, who lift you up, who want to see you do better, all those things. And, that's definitely what I would be doing with the Three of Cups, is like finding those people. People always tell me they can't find those people. Yes, you can. Yes, maybe you're going to have to leave a comfort zone, or you're going to have to join a class. I always tell people, go do something with people who do something, right? It's like this year I started taking some classes, and I've met the best people in my life. And it shouldn't be a surprise, because guess what? The people who go to these classes, they do stuff. And they're interesting. They're not at home all the time doing nothing. So, again, it's like sometimes we have to go join a class, or, join a course, or join a cause in public with people. And, that's where you can find the best people. So I highly recommend it. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Four of Swords. Everybody gets the Four of Swords during Mercury retrograde. Four of Swords is like a Mercury retrograde card. It's about resting, relaxing, recovering, healing, taking care of yourself, hoping and praying and meditating, all things that we should basically be doing. With that health card that you have there, I would also, make sure to stay healthy. It's coming up in the good stuff. I'm not really too worried about it for you, Sag, but, make sure you are. With the Death card, you have the Knight of Wands again, you returning to your adventurous Sagittarius self. I would be open to like random opportunities, especially if they're completely different than what you normally do. You know what I mean? It's like with that Four of Cups, it's like maybe there's something that is like, maybe if you're looking for a job, it's like maybe there's something that's like related to what you do, but it's not like exactly what you do. The Knight of Wands, he's willing to build in a new direction, and that's the thing that makes him very successful. So, that's basically what I would be doing with that card. With the Three of Cups, you have the World, which is amazing. This would be you, like I said, number one, putting yourself out into the world, going and having adventures, doing fun things, spending time with people, who matter to you. But it's also a card of, accomplishment and achievement. So there definitely could be like an accomplishment or some sort of achievement coming in for you with that card. You have the Skull card, says hidden secrets can harm you. You had something about like half-truths and things like that. It might be a good time to like speak up, draw boundaries with people. It's like, if you don't want to do something, just say no, right? It's like that type of energy. It's like sometimes I think it would be much better for us to speak up and just say things and not worry about like losing something. It's like I see this a lot in relationships, for example, where someone will be doing something that like the person doesn't like, and they don't say anything about it because they're like afraid of losing the person or being single or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but it's like, are you really going to suffer through this and create a bunch of resentment, or would it be better just to say it, right? And, that's kind of the energy I get here. You have this arrow. It says, you're on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. Love it. You're on the right path. Keep going. You have this tower. It says, solid foundation, success with effort. Yeah, definitely going to require effort. I think anything worth doing for Sagittarius is going to require some building or some creative energy, like we said. And so, anything that requires like, long-term effort would probably be very good. You have this eagle. It says triumph over obstacles. Love it. Definitely could be overcoming some obstacles. It does seem to me like the end of 2025 that we could, that there's like a little bit of a focus on overcoming obstacles. You even have the chariot, which is about, charging past an obstacle. And you have the shield card. You have 2 shield cards in this reading. It says you need to defend yourself. So yeah, having help, we have to be careful with defending ourselves this year, 2025, and kind of like the beginning of 2026. It's much better to just have a boundary, and you don't necessarily have to say anything, right? You can just, anything that you can avoid, just avoid it, plain and simple. But this looks really good here, Sag. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.